So I saw Ken read many times at Day of the Deadbeats, and every time I saw him read, I was like, that dude scares the hell out of me. And then I got to know him a couple years ago because he was doing this project where he would call people he knew on the phone and he would interview you, and he would just kind of write down what he could catch of your conversation, and he would write a poem based on these little bits of language. So he wrote this poem. The first title was called I Feel Like Dick Buttkiss Tackling Natalie Portman, and then I think the final title was called Freckles. So and then he was doing this other project where he was collaborating with people. I know he did this with Brett and Jim and Sulier and a couple other people. So we embarked on this kind of funny process of writing poems together. And I think he had all those. I think I told Jim to look out for them in Ken's stuff. I don't know where they went. I think I mailed them back to him to type up. So they're floating around in the world somewhere, but it was a funny process because he told me, I am the better poet because I feel more. You need to feel more. So I felt self-conscious bringing my own poems here because I felt like maybe I haven't gotten to that visceral Ken Brown place, but August Kleinzahler definitely has. If you haven't read this book, Sleeping It Off in Rapid City, I think it's a very Ken-like book. Very visceral, but Ken was really a craftsman. He worked on his poems a lot. He went through lots of drafts, and what Matt was saying about the musical quality of his poems, it was very true. And when he got up and read, he would throw the pages off like this piece of trash. And in his house, there'd be poems like all over like a carpet of poems. He'd be like, you need to come over here and type these up for me and help me get an agent. I've got thousands of poems, and it was true. But he worked extremely hard on them, even though he threw them on the ground like he didn't care that a lot of work went into those. So this is called On Johnny's Time. When Johnny goes out, he's careful what gets into his time. He likes time plain, the better to taste it run out of him, like water out holes in the old town's corroded pipe. What sort of business you in? The good burgher always asks John. Monkey business is what John likes to tell him, and won't crack a smile ever. That's John. But when Johnny goes out on Johnny's own time, he's out there doing only one thing. He's burning off all the stillborn Johnnies that hatched in his head in the night. And that John, he won't ever come home, not until he's right. Where souls go, no telling where, down the hill and out of sight. Soapbox derby heroes in a new dimension. Don't bother to resurrect them, useless. Some old newsreel clip catches them shocked with a butter knife in the toaster. Countless snaps and episodes in space once you hit the viewfinder that fits. It's all a lie anyway, all Hollywood. The mind is a too much thing cleansing itself like a great salt sea. Rather, imagine them in the eaves among pigeons or clustered around the D train's fan as we cross the bridge to Brooklyn. And make that a Friday night, July say. We are walking past the liquor store to visit our love. Two boys are eating corn doodles in the most flamboyant manner possible. She waits, trying to have the best song on as we arrive. The moon is blurred. Our helicopters are shooting at field workers. The Mets are down 3-1 in the 6th. And this last little one I'll read is called Meat. How much meat moves into the city each night? The decks of its bridges tremble in the liquefaction of sodium light, and the moon a chemical orange. Semi-trailers strain their axles, shivering as they take the long curve over warehouses and lofts. The wilderness of streets below the mesh of it, with Joe on the front stoop smoking, and Louise on the phone with her mother. Out of the haze of industrial meadows they arrive, numberless, hauling tons of dead lamb, bones and flesh and offal, miles to the ports and channels of the city's shimmering membrane, a giant breathing cell exhaling its waste from the stacks by the river and feeding them through the night. Thank you very much.